Hello everyone, it's Brett here, Lionheart84, and I'm just going to do a very quick garden tour. I quite often stop them at the beginning of September, but as the weather's quite nice and there are a few things to look at in the garden in October, I thought I'd do a very quick run round the garden at the beginning of October just to see how things change at this time of the year. I'm not going to go do a detailed run through all of the plants because it'll take too long and I'm short of time today. So interestingly, we start with my large pomegranate, which amazingly still has some flower buds on it. Unfortunately, it flowered far too late this year to have any chance of any fruit setting, but it is nice to see that it does produce flower buds, so perhaps if I can find a way to keep it better fed and watered in the spring and early summer, we might get flowers earlier with a chance of some fruit set. So just running around the garden very quickly, still got some daphnes in flower here. The Kiwi Berry, Actinidia arguta, as you can see, is starting to go into dormancy now. I'm hopeful I'm going to get some flowers and fruit on it next year, but that remains to be seen. Blueberries are looking lovely. They're starting to get their autumn colours now, which is one of the reasons I have them, because for me they're ornamental as well as being practical. Didn't get any flowers at all on my mammoth pineapple guava this year. No idea why, so no flowers and no fruit set, even though it's the same size as a Triumph that had plenty of flowers and fruit on it. I've got my Passiflora Amethyst there, which is growing right up to the top of the neighbour's conifer, which is about it's a good 18 feet in the air, and I doubt if you can even see it, but there's plenty of flowers up there. One thing they do is get a lot paler at this time of year with the cooler temperatures. Obviously I've featured this pineapple guava in my other video. This is my unnamed variety, got plenty of fruits on it, which I'm hoping will reach an edible size by the end of November. My in-ground pomegranate bush got some flowers this year and I've trimmed it back now, so I'm hoping for more flowers on that next year. Interestingly, the amethyst is producing fruits, but they aren't edible on this plant. They're if they've got any seeds or flesh in at all, it's orange and it's very bitter and not pleasant to eat, but quite often you find these fruits are completely empty on them. My bottle brush looking happy as ever. Next to it, which I featured in the other video, is my pineapple guava Triumph, which does have some really good sized fruits on it, so it looks like I'm going to have some decent edible fruit this year. Here is my this is my Pawpaw, which was a seedling one, not a named variety, and interestingly it looks to me, you can normally tell these buds in the leaf axils are next year's flower buds, and this will be, it's got quite a few on the plant, so this next year will be the first year that it hopefully produces flowers, and I might be able to use it to cross-pollinate my named varieties of Pawpaw. That's Asamina triloba. Garden's a bit of a mess at the moment because I'm having a load of concreting work done, but I can just quickly run over here. My mulberries are now, obviously, as you can see, turning yellow and going to dormancy. Same for the Asian pears and my other pomegranate. Lots of figs on the fig tree, but they're not going to reach maturity. Although, having said that, funny enough, there's one here that is turning purple. It's very small. I don't know if you can see it, it's very small, it's under there, but it's quite soft and that may actually be edible, so I might pick that in the next few days and see if it's edible. My salted jujubes here did set some fruits at last this year, too late in the season to ripen, although there's a possibility that one down there might get to be edible, but they didn't set fruits until well into August. I've got to try and find a way to get them to set fruits in July, because they were flowering from early July but set nothing. So I think if I can get them to set fruits in July, I could have edible fruits by October. My Persimmon Collection, not going to go into them in detail. I do have 3 fruits. I've got one on a Rojo Brillant, one on a Chocolatino, and one on a fuyu which I featured in another video. Still got a few tomatoes hanging on the vines, have mostly been got by mould and blight now, so I'll probably pull those out later today. Plenty of growth on the persimmons this year. My collection's done very nicely. As you can see, some of them are going into dormancy, and they do vary a lot in colours. This particular one's got a lovely sort of deep burgundy colour leaf, so I'm expecting good things from these. Several of these trees are big enough to flower next year and possibly produce fruits, but what I'll do in winter is I'll inspect each pot and see which ones look as if they could do with uppotting, and then I'll move those ones up to larger pots so they get a good start for next year. I've actually got some tiny little persimmons on my Lotus Persimmon here. I believe these turn brown when they're edible rather than orange, so it'll be interesting to see if I'm not saying they're edible in terms of being nice to eat, but it's just interesting to see what's happening. Had my first four edible pawpaw fruits this year off that larger one. That's a prima, so again I'll be looking at some of these plants in winter and inspecting the roots to see if they need repotting or not. Again, lots of figs on these trees, but unfortunately they invariably just dry up and shrivel at this time of the year. Nothing here that looks like it's edible. Not to worry. See these interesting little figlets on this one. Yeah, they're rock hard. Although they're pinkish, they're certainly not edible. I'm not going to go into the other plants in detail. I've got some more pineapple guavas here, some loquats. I've got there's a mulberry at the back there that's already lost all its leaves, but that should do nicely next year. Got more Chilean guavas on this side. There's butterball, Pawpaw, and I've temporarily forgot what the variegated one's called. This has actually got fruits on it, but they don't seem to like turning colour on this particular variegated one. I think you can probably see the fruits. They're not particularly large, but they always seem to say, at the moment, probably because the plants are young, they seem to stay a sort of a yellowy green colour rather than turning red as I was expecting them to do. A few more tomatoes here, but they're pretty much finished now, and I've still got 3 fruits hanging on my incarnata, Passiflora incarnata. There's the third one that I put in the ground recently, and that has actually grown since I planted it. That came from a French nursery, so I should have some good genetic variation now if I can get them to survive the winter. But these flowered too late this year, really. I don't think those fruits will get to an edible size, but they're not bad. They're certainly over an inch in size of a very small plum, so I will be curious to see if we get some mild weather for next week or two, what happens. Not much else to show. My variegated rhododendron. This is my largest fig plant. This is the one that I've had featured in 2 or 3 videos where I've picked the fruits off it and eaten it. I think it's a long do. Plenty of figs left on it, but they won't get to ripeness now. It's too cold and the sap flow to them is being cut off. And of course my Japanthus have all finished flowering. So anyway, I just thought I'd do a very, very quick look round the video garden rather than the detailed one, because obviously things are slowing down in October, but that was for anyone who I thought might be interested in a quick garden tour. Anything that happens in the next month or so will be featured in sort of standalone videos, so thanks everybody for watching. Obviously appreciate it if you give the video a thumbs up, share it with anyone who you think would be interested in doing similar things in their garden in the UK or a similar cool climate. Obviously if you can subscribe to my channel, I'd really appreciate it. And if you just showing that passion fruit there, and if you click on the bell, you'll obviously get updates on new videos as they come out. So enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I'll catch up with you on the next video. Brett out for now.